It's impossible now. And I think we need to come clean. We need to tell Canadians it won't work.
This is a catastrophic loss. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we've got, well, $15 billion of our money has, well, gone down to America. It is now building America. We have this ridiculous situation with Stellantis. We've also got the lumber industry in British Columbia collapsing. David Eby completely fumbling the ball. We have Stephen Guilbeault lambasting Mark Carney on CTV. You can't make this stuff up. We got a bunch of stuff here. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got new polling data. Well, neck and neck. That's right. Pierre is back up. He was down one, up one, down one. Here we are. Neck and neck, 41% NDP and Bloc both at 7%. Elizabeth May, 2%. There's a bunch of stories here. Conservatives are digging into everything in committee, so we'll just briefly touch on this. We've got this from Juno News. The University of Toronto's medical dean accepted $18 million from Saudi Arabia to train its students amidst a severe shortage of training spots for Canadian doctors. They've been allowing these people to come to Canada, train them, then they go back home. We've been basically training Saudi doctors when we need doctors. It's an absolute disgrace and betrayal of our country. As this guy points out here, this has been going on for a long time. This needs to be stopped immediately. We don't have serious people running our country. And a perfect example of this is we got Tim Hortons lobbied MPs for more temporary foreign workers over the last 18 months. As this account points out, garbage coffee, garbage food, garbage company. I will never go to Tim Hortons. No thanks. Look at this one here. So Conservatives posting this. The Liberals got up in the middle of a committee meeting and just left.
Hi guys, here we are right in transportation room. We had the most unbelievable thing happen here. The chair got up saying we're just going to pause for a moment to switch interpreters, and then the entire Liberal bench just got up and left. Liberals may not want to work, but Conservatives do.
You're just unreal. If they refuse to work, they should be thrown out of office. Well, why would they still get paid? Next up, we got this bombshell news. I can only imagine Pierre Poilievre is going to be running buck wild with this in the House of Commons later today. We've got breaking Stellantis CEO Antonio Filosa just announced Stellantis will be investing $13 billion in the United States over the next 4 years. This just comes after the Liberals gave them $15 billion of our tax dollars. The Liberals gave them our money and they're investing it in America. Is this the win that Mark Carney's talking about? It's a win for him and his 91% of his investments in America. Meanwhile, Canadians are losing their jobs. So we've got the CEO right here. As Ezra Levant points out here, Mark Carney is a master negotiator.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great day for us at Stellantis today, because it's the day where we see CAFE regulation reconciled with real customers' demand. That's why at Stellantis we decided to invest to Jeep, Ram, Dodge and Chrysler $13 billion in the next 4 years, increasing production by 50%, delivering to the market 5 new vehicles and creating 5,000 additional jobs. That's because we believe in what you, Secretary Taffy, and all your team is doing in this country. We believe in growth and we're ready to invest even more. So thank you very much. Thank you very much also for this great news of the K cars, which were very interesting.
Maybe they should be thanking the Canadian people that gave them that money. We need to get this money back. And if it doesn't come from Stellantis, we should be taking it from the Liberals' bank accounts.
And we are very looking forward to work with Secretary Duffy, your team, in the future.
This is just disgusting and disgraceful. And what does Trump have to say about this?
The reason a lot of these people, I can tell you this, maybe we would have had the political people, we wouldn't have these people without tariffs. The people that are up here from Stellantis and Ford and General Motors, great companies, including this gentleman, right? They wouldn't be here today if we didn't have tariffs. They'd be building their plants in Mexico and other places. They're leaving Mexico and they're leaving Canada. They're leaving because they ripped off our country. They took our businesses away from us. And now, because of tariffs, they're all coming back. So it's a great thing. Thank you very much.
Trump is cleaning our clock, and Mark Carney's helping him do it. Canada is going to be a wasteland by the time this Liberal term ends. It doesn't get more straightforward than that. If it's not this ridiculous situation with Stellantis or Algoma, 1,000 jobs being lost there, we've got this one. Canada proud. The housing situation. New homes Canada needs to solve the housing crisis. 3.2 million. Carney's plan to build homes, 26,000. How many more do we need? Yeah, we have to shut the border. That's the only way to fix this. We definitely need to drastically increase the rate of building homes, but we have to shut the border. There's no other way this math works. When I bought my house, I had to pay for it. The government didn't help me. So why are we paying for everyone else's house? If it's not housing that's completely broken, well, then it's the lumber industry. We've got David Eby here, completely useless. He even gets called out essentially on live TV.
Obviously for Domtar, it is very, very bad news, not just for these families, but for our province. And the Minister of Forests, myself, the Minister of Labor, will be working together to do all we can.
Okay, so he's saying he's going to work to do all he can, but from what I'm hearing from you, there is more that could be done here.
You can't make this stuff up. How can a guy stay in power? Why are the buffoons in this province that I live voting for that idiot? He took a $6 billion surplus from John Horgan and turned it into a $12 billion deficit. He's an absolute disgrace and he should be thrown out of power last year.
Things are dire in the forest sector in British Columbia. It is a crisis. They need to act now. They should amend the Forest Act in the next legislative session. Subsidies alone will not work for the sector. We need to make substantive change to the regulations and the hosting conditions in BC and focus on things that we can control. And if they are willing to do that, they've got a great active partner in Domtar.
Is that the primary issue here, a legislative or regulatory block?
It is primarily. That's within the purview of the BC government. They can control access to fiber supply in British Columbia, and that's the primary reason you're seeing these mills, including ours, go under. Markets fluctuate. We can't control that. We can't control what the United States is doing vis-a-vis tariffs, and we can't control what the federal government is doing either, frankly, but we can control in British Columbia what the hosting conditions are here in BC.
And David Eby has destroyed that. Mark Carney won't get a deal. Our country is being run by complete idiots. And what do we see Carney's team coming out with? Tim Hodgson with this video, trying to convince us that wind and solar is going to save our lives.
The potential is even larger for offshore wind. Offshore turbines are much bigger and operate in stronger, more consistent winds, generating significantly more electricity.
This is just a Brookfield green grift. We're not dumb. We know exactly what's going on here.
A modern offshore turbine, like those used in Germany's Hydrite project, can reach 15 megawatts.
Yeah, could. Is it? This guy's getting fact-checked hard in the comment section here. Electricity production by source in the world. Wind and solar is way at the top here. And this increase here you're seeing is mostly in China. The world's future energy supply. Oil, natural gas, coal, other, solar, nuclear, wind. Look at this one here. Expensive solar and wind. The elites tell you the solar and wind are cheap. Reality, the more solar and wind, the costlier it gets. I can't remember where this is from, but I have seen this before. This is from a trusted publication. As you see, the most expensive here, Denmark. Solar and wind electricity 60%, and they're paying 40 cents per kilowatt hour. And where's Germany? Right up there. They put in this green eco agenda and it costs more. It's so expensive for their electricity now. Oh, and looking in the fine print here is really hard to read. This is from Bloomberg. Are we stupid yet? The con is real. Yeah, exactly. This doesn't work for our climate. Sure, it's windy over in Nova Scotia. People want giant wind farms out in the ocean there. Once these blades start shattering, you're going to get fiberglass shards all over the beaches. It's like leaving glass everywhere. It'll slice up your feet. The beaches will be unusable. They talk about eco-green and all that. Like, it's terrible for the environment. I mean, speaking of the net zero agenda, we have Stephen Guilbeault here talking with Vasi Capellos, basically debunking Mark Carney's green grift from the perspective of the eco-warrior here, saying that it won't work. His net zero agenda isn't going to work because they're not going hard enough on it.
How the thesis that they seem to be putting forward is the increase, whatever we're able to negotiate in the form of an increase to the industrial price on carbon will mitigate the impact of the rollback of these other policies. Is that possible?
Well, I mean, not with the current agreement. To mitigate the losses of measures we're willing to leave on the table in order to get this agreement with Alberta, the price on pollution would have to be almost 3 times as high as what is currently being proposed. So there's an Environment Canada estimates that to get to the same result in terms of reduction of pollution just using industrial carbon pricing and taking clean electricity regulation out of the equation, you'd have to have a price on pollution of about $400 a ton. And we're talking right now about $130 a ton.
So to break this down, currently in Alberta is $25 per ton. Carney's agreement with Danielle Smith, the MOU, boosts that up to $130 per ton. And he's saying it needs to be $400. These guys are sick and twisted. They do not care. They're pushing people into tents out on the street or people living in their cars because of this green grift.
So, I mean, the math doesn't add up. And frankly, I think that my government needs to be honest with Canadians, with the rollbacks that we've seen over the past few months on different climate change measures that have been adopted over the years by me and some of my predecessors. It is impossible to see how we achieve our 2030 targets. And we knew it was going to be difficult. When I was minister, you and I have had this conversation. We knew it was going to be challenging. It's impossible now. And I think we need to come clean. We need to tell Canadians it won't work. We won't get there.
This is wild. He's completely nuking the eco-green side of Mark Carney's agenda here. Mark Carney's whole thing hinges on this. He needs people to buy into his net zero agenda, and you got Guilbeault absolutely nuking it. This is wild. Is he going to stay in caucus? I don't know. Carney might want to kick his butt out of there, but he can't have Guilbeault revolt on him. So Carney's kind of stuck. He can't do anything here.
And the Prime Minister, he's the Prime Minister. If he wants another strategy, if he wants another approach, he can do that. But we also have to tell Canadians what's the new plan and what does that plan lead us to. And right now, even achieving net zero, so carbon neutrality by 2050, it is very hard for me to see how we get there with what has been announced so far.
So you think even that target is in jeopardy now?
Yes. Yes.
Did you convey this at any point to the Prime Minister? Like, was there, not to say that you would disclose all the details, but like, has there been a frank conversation about this between you and the Prime Minister specifically?
Last week, I've had a couple of conversations with the Prime Minister, and they were very honest and frank and respectful. Where I told them many of the things that I'm telling you now, and where eventually I told them that I was no longer the person to be able to help him continue support his agenda on this issue. Now, why stay in caucus? Why stay?
You beat me to the punch, right? To the punch, right?
Yeah, we know why, Guilbeault. It's the money. We got it.
I'll frame the question if you don't mind, because I think a lot of Canadians watching would ask that question. If you don't feel like you can defend, on principle, essentially, you have to resign from cabinet because of the agenda that they're pursuing. How can you stay in the government, period?
Well, I have a profound disagreement with the Prime Minister on how he and his team want to continue moving forward on climate change. And as I said, I don't see the plan. I don't see the math right now.
He doesn't see the plan or the math, but what he does see is the dollar signs, those big bills going into his bank account. That's what he sees.
And maybe they can prove me wrong in the coming months. That being said, I still think that the best person to serve Canadians and to help us to guide us through those difficult times we're going through is Mark Carney.
Yeah, okay. He's going to completely destroy Carney's eco-green pathway here, his narrative, and then he's going to kiss his butt a little bit at the end. What a wild show. How does anyone take this guy seriously? I don't know. I'm just surprised he didn't start crying again. Again, how does charging taxes change the climate? It's just ridiculous. Yep, you can't change the weather by increasing taxes. And we can't sell our carbon dioxide because no one wants to buy it. Next up, we got some big news out of British Columbia. We got John Rustad here, who's apparently been ousted as BC Conservative leader. He's a Liberal. I've been saying this for a while now. He needed to be thrown out because he's an absolute joke. But what happened here is they put in a temporary interim leader of the party, but he's saying, no, I'm not out. He's still leader of the caucus. So he's just desperately trying to cling on to power. It's absolutely pitiful. We got Mark Nixon posting this one. So John Rustad has 25,000 followers on X. Meanwhile, Dallas Brody has 24,000. So she's a leader of the One BC party, which is basically the actual Conservative Party of British Columbia. Listen to her ask this question here about them getting attacked at the University of Victoria campus. And David Eby's response is absolutely deplorable.
Immediately after the police marched Professor Widdowson off campus, a land back activist violently assaulted a One BC volunteer, while others threw orange smoke bombs at our chief of staff, a man who is legally blind. A mob then descended into shrieks and beastly howls. It was like a display of demons. This is all on video, Mr. Speaker, and it's the true face of this decolonization movement. And this is what happens when our universities abandon the search for truth to instead breed violent left-wing mobs, just like Mao did during China's Cultural Revolution.
Member has a question.
Speaker, my question is for the Premier. Will he at least condemn this disgusting political violence and demand that UVic's president, Rabina Thomas, resign in disgrace?
Mr. Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I suspect the member got exactly what she wanted at the university, which was not a considered discussion.
She got exactly what she wanted, to get attacked. This is what the Premier of British Columbia just said, that another member of parliament here, of provincial parliament, wanted to get attacked at the university. Like, what kind of loser do we have here? How can anyone in their right mind think this is a good person to lead the province? Who voted for this guy?
Which was not a discussion of ideas. She is not in favor of those things. Her conduct is reprehensible. It is embarrassing. It degrades the public's opinion of every elected member in this House. And I wish you would stop it.
I wish this guy would disappear from British Columbia and never come back. He's been the biggest disaster of a premier in Canadian history in this province. And with that, the One BC Party has just come out with this documentary here, Making a Killing. It's already got almost 50,000 views on it. Breaks down the whole situation, Kamloops, the graves, all that. First Nations were given $12 million to dig it up and prove that this happened. They refused to do that. They just stole taxpayers' money, essentially. They didn't dig anything up. They proved nothing. There was nothing ever found. Taxpayers essentially getting scammed here. The one thing that this documentary didn't do is they needed that strong connection of bringing in real residential school survivors, people who really went through stuff, because that did happen. But in this case here in Kamloops, it did not. And that's why they're not digging, because they know if they dig, there's nothing there. They use ground penetrating radar. They found disturbances in the soil, but that could be anything. They could have been an old fence or an old garden there. Essentially, we've got chiefs and band councils here stealing taxpayer money, and we've got the BC government covering for this. Like, it's a crime cartel that's running this province and this country.